Oh, no, he didn't. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Tuesday night chat. That started pretty quick, actually. Um, I'm just trying to mute. Okay, now. Uh, got a Warsaw Patriot and Daniel. God is my judge here tonight. Um, hey, and inside, if you want to join us, I sent you a link to your email. Um, So anyway, we'll figure out some stuff to talk about. There's a lot of stuff to cover if we want to or not. We'll see. So I'll let these guys do an intro right quick, and I'll start with you, Warsaw.
Hey guys, yeah, it's Warsaw Patriot here, Dave Amerikanski. Not much has been going on. I've still trying to come up with more ideas for more videos, so just give it a couple more days, and I'll probably post something for you guys.
All right, sounds good. Daniel, would you like to do an intro?
Well, hey out there, and I just seen old Bald. He's out there too. What are you doing there, Valor? And well, you probably haven't seen too much from me lately. It might be a little bit more longer because my computer caught a virus, and I lost all my video and all my editing stuff. So life is good, and the sun's out, and I'm outside doing stuff. But thanks for the invite, there, Tr.
Yeah, it did suck about you losing everything. Yeah, losing everything on your computer. Yeah. Well, hello, Insight. Would you like to do an intro?
Hello, everybody. There's my intro. That's what I got tonight. That'll work.
That'll work. That's good enough for me. Hey, everything worked right off the bat this time. Maybe YouTube's getting some stuff straightened out.
It's a miracle after they shut down on Sunday, pretty much.
I think didn't a lot of people, like a lot of Google services period, shut down, didn't they?
Yeah, I was reading about that. I think it was Snapchat, Google, several things within Google, as well as I know that I tried to upload a video probably 3 times before I finally got it to go late Sunday. So yeah, there were some serious server problems going on somewhere.
Okay. I was working on sending a link out to someone. See how it goes. You got anything going on right now inside?
I've been working with this Dead Zero shooting park, trying to get a little get together down there, like the day or two after Independence Day, and kind of going back and forth with them. They're interesting. I put a video out a little over a week ago about a tour. I took a tour. They let me just wander the grounds and did some video of some of the stuff, and it's a pretty exciting new shooting park here in Tennessee. So they're everything from 2 full 18 station sporting clays to the 2 sporting stands to 3D archery, pistol carbine bays, goodness, 1,000-yard rifle range that they're still trying to get finished from construction from all this wet spring that we had, and just a full facility. So I toured that, and some of the guys from the Georgia Shooting Connection are interested in trying to get together. So we're trying to put together a get together for like either Saturday the 6th or Friday the 5th for going down there and helping them kick off their YouTube channel. They want to put a YouTube channel out, and I think it's a good idea for them. I'm trying to support these vets with what they're doing down there because it's a really impressive facility for sure.
Okay.
That and just shooting.
Okay.
And working and being dad for the summer. So little everything. I'm all over the board.
Okay. All right. I
So,
was having
Daniel,
problems. with an email.
What happened down there on your computer?
Well, I went to download a recommended from another YouTube channel that does a lot of technical stuff to be able to get screenshots. Well, that seemed to have put a virus onto my laptop, and I had to leave it to my daughter to do a hard restart on my computer just to get it because there was nothing. It was completely locked up, couldn't do anything, and so all my videos is gone. My editing software is gone. So yeah,
Did you get the blue screen of death?
no, I didn't get that. I got it redone before that happened.
Good.
And the part that sucks, okay, Coda Boy went and did a review on Bear Creek Arsenal. Well, I've got it upper from Bear Creek Arsenal. I sent the first one back, and I was doing a whole review all the way from the first one through the warranty department to the replacement barrel and the upper they sent me. And I did a break-in of the new upper, and at 200 yards, I put 4 shots within an inch and a half of each other, and I had one flyer, and one of them hit about 2 inches outside the other group of 4. I had it all on video.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people really do some impressive things with those once they get them kind of dialed in. There's sometimes a few like gas block issues or something with some of them. But what was your issue with the first iteration on it?
The first one I couldn't get a group that grouped within a foot and a half at 200 yards. I mean, it's just like a shotgun out there. So I sent it back in. I mean, the day I called them, they sent me a shipping information for free shipping back. When they got it, they basically they notified me that they got it, and the next day they notified me they had a whole brand new one shipped out UPS. So the warranty department was outstanding.
So what caliber was that?
450 Bushmaster.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that first video with the issue, but yeah, strong. Yeah,
but there you go. I mean, 200 yards. I was aiming for here, no windage. That's a flyer. But there's 4 holes, and the other one hit right about here where my finger's at. So I think that was a good one. So now I'm working up some hand loads for it.
and that's not even broken in yet.
Well, I did the 20 rounds clean, and I cleaned it with CLP, and then I ran every gun that I've ever used, running this through between shots for the first 20. They've all turned into what I call sniper rifles because it turns them into tack drivers. So right now I'm working on 3 shots and clean. You're just going through that process, and it's just tightening. I just watch the groups go like this, tighter and tighter and tighter.
Yeah, when I built this lower, and I've always had that Grendel in mind, I saw this as something where I might swap out some other kind of bigger bore uppers with it, and I've toyed with the idea of either the Bushmaster or the SOCOM, either 458 or 450 or the 450. But to me, the holes that those leave in things are just impressive.
Yeah, it's the same caliber. I mean, what I'm shooting is the same bullet that I use with my muzzleloader. So I tell you what, the shooting a gun like this, that big of a bullet in a light gun like an AR platform, it hurts. It definitely hurts the shoulder.
And the Bushmaster's a straight wall case, is that right?
Yeah.
So the reloading becomes much more simple on that too. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just making sure the cases are all trimmed exactly. The weight of the powder is exact, and the seat. And some people say that you're not supposed to crimp it, but on the die set that I have, it does have a die set or crimp on it. So
Yeah.
I just try to do a very light crimp.
Yeah. Just barely kiss the edge of it.
Yeah, just get it.
Is it a roll crimp or is it like a factory side crimp?
It comes together like
Yeah,
this.
little roll.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that first one. I put 90 rounds through that first upper. So yes, it is an expensive one.
Yeah, it seemed like we looked that up when you was talking about it. It was some oddball old rifle cartridge converted. It wasn't anything that you would think of.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah, so I'm going to be putting this on the chrono just to make sure, because just with a barely putting a crimp on it, I'm getting better than like the Hortney Black speeds on it. I'm getting 2,300 feet per second. And some that I've put a tighter crimp on it, I've gotten 2,500 feet per second on it. And but it wasn't given any bulge at a primer. But I still think that's probably a little bit too much.
And what's the powder you're using on that? Is it one of the accurate?
I'm using 296.
Well, that ought to be fun and make you glad that you reload.
All right, we got a new person here. Thoughts of an old soldier. Is that right?
Yes, sir, it is. Good evening. Thank you for having me.
No problem.
Very humbled to be here, gentlemen.
Howdy, howdy.
I'm not familiar with your channel. Warsaw was talking about you a little bit before we went live. Not bad, but
Yeah, that's you're a great guy, man.
so what's your story?
Good.
Which I'm not familiar with your channel. I can only go by the name of it, but what now do you do?
Oh, okay.
On YouTube.
When we talk about politics, talk about military history, Second Amendment. I try not to bore my audience with my old Army stories.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. Oh, I got it pulled up. I have to check your channel out.
And I read a little bit of poetry from my 2 books I wrote.
Oh, that's cool. I don't do poetry, or is writing it anyway. Mine will sound like something you see in the bathroom wall. All right. What else we got going on? Anything? Well, wait, but before we move on the 450, I'm sure you told us, was there a particular reason you bought that caliber, or was it just because you wanted it?
Oh, for deer hunting. It's straight walled. We're allowed to use straight walled. And according to the box, with somewhere between 19.5 inches of drop to 24 inches of drop with a 200-yard center, 300 yards, and it hits like a 44 Magnum at 300 yards.
What grain bullet is it, or what are you using it at least?
250 grain Hortney SST.
250 grain. And
Yeah.
what did you say the velocity was at the muzzle?
At the muzzle, the Hortney Black, factory ammo is at 2,200 feet per second at the muzzle.
Yeah, that's blistering.
Yeah, and I've had it factory ammo go as high as 2,300 feet per second with that 18-inch barrel.
Yeah, that's definitely that's a stump buster.
It's a shoulder breaker and a light gun. And the muzzleloader, it's not too bad because it's got some weight. But these light ARs, oh boy.
Ouch. Got to
Brings
shoot an
back
H car the other day, and that thing didn't have the recoil I thought it was. Have you seen those? The what is it, Ohio Firearms. They're remaking the BARs as the H cars.
I haven't seen that.
Uh-uh.
I
It's
don't-
a reproduction bar. Like 30
Well, they make reproduction BARs, but they're also making a modern tactical version of it. I want to say it's H car's the name of it. A friend of mine bought one. There's like a $4,500 price tag on it, but it was actually a fun rifle to shoot. Try to get a picture next time and show you.
Okay. Yeah, if it's as heavy as those things look like, they shouldn't kick too bad. Yeah.
If we can find the name of that company.
Tell you, it's going to be fun if I go out shooting tomorrow. They've just got one tractor coming in with one tank right after another. It started this morning spreading the liquid manure.
The Ohio Ordnance Works. That's the name of the company. They're making a 1918 A3 and semi-auto. And I think they're also making a more modern version. What they got here for it? Semi-auto. There we go. Calling that bad boy. The H car package. $4,950 if you want to buy one. I don't know if that shows up. That's what it looks like.
That's kind of out of my price league.
Mine too, but it was fun to shoot it. I'd like to shoot an original someday.
Yeah, it don't look nothing like what I remember.
Has anybody seen or heard what the governor of Virginia is trying to propose in Virginia now?
I read over it. I forget exactly, but he's wanting to do away with suppressors, assault weapons, extend background checks.
One pistol purchase per month is another one.
I think even limit public carrying places even more, which is the exact reason what happened because they couldn't carry in there.
I think Guns and Gadgets and Coda Boy both put videos out on that today as this thing's been developing. But it's sad that that's their first gut reaction is to, well, let's do this, let's do that, whereas it is not going to stop the problem until they address the mental health issue in the nation. I think that's what's needs to take place to begin with.
Yeah, it's just more and more of the same thing. What doesn't work, just do more of it.
Exactly. Government bureaucracy at its best.
Yep. It's definitely more about control than it is about gun control. So, and it's just the pace is nonstop. I mean, it just feels like every day you turn on and you read something new about some state that's trying to enact something. So, yeah, it's a mess.
Well, because everything's so instantaneous now. When we were probably all of us, except maybe Warsaw, we're all about the same age. When we were growing up, you might have heard about an event 3 or 4 days later. Now it's boom right there. But still, it doesn't make it right for what they're trying to do to our Second Amendment.
Yeah, it's like it's just an excuse for their agenda.
I mean, look, what was it, Switzerland? They went and did, started getting gun control and gun regs going on because of they're not even in the EU, but they, got pressure from the EU about it. I mean, it's just the same thing going on here. They want to disarm the entire public. And that's what it's all about, is just globalism. Get rid of the borders. Go one world economy.
Was it Stalin or was it Lenin that said the first thing you have to do is disarm the population? Can't remember which one of them, but one of them made that statement. In order to gain control of a population, the first thing you have to do is disarm them.
Yeah, I think that's probably what Lenin was telling Hitler.
Yeah.
Every one of them's done it.
Mm-hmm.
Mao, Stalin, on down the line.
Ho Chi Minh.
Yeah.
Castro.
Yeah. Venezuela.
Venezuela is one that really sticks out right now in prominence.
Well, we had under our last illustrious POTUS all that talk from the UN about the, disarming through the UN the whole world, and that idea floating around. So it's never ending.
Well, once you get a Democrat in the president's seat and they get control of the Senate and Congress, you can see it in the future, especially the way the elections swing. You get 2 terms of a Republican, and then you'll get 2 terms of a Democrat in the House and the Congress. They just swing back and forth just like that.
Well, and now you've got the fourth branch of government, the media, they're going to spend every 4 years of a Republican in office just completely lambasting them nonstop every day. So,
Absolutely. That's why I always carry my pocket Constitution with me. I'm always constantly in it. And, the Second Amendment is clearly established and clearly stated. A well-regulated militia, comma, being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, comma, and the last, not least, and the most important though, shall not be infringed. And how they misinterpret that is beyond me, but I spent 22 years defending that document, and I'll do another 22 if they tell me I have to.
Well, they're not misinterpreting it. They're just preaching to a dumbed down society.
Yeah, and we're allowing them to. We keep electing them even though they ignore that oath to uphold that Constitution. We continue to allow them to manipulate it or ignore it one way or another and putting them back in office. So,
And it's not just that amendment.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm also the proud owner of one of those pocket constitutions, thanks to one TRprepper from several years ago that came in a package that included I think it was a Surefire weapon light and some other stuff that came from him. So TR made sure that he spread the Constitution around in a pocket keeping size. So that sits.
Yeah,
goes with me.
Got in the habit of that. Anytime I sent something to somebody, whether they want a little giveaway or whatever, I always threw one in there.
I've done a couple of videos on it.
They're like $1 from Amazon. It's like, yeah, you ought to have a stack of them. Hand one out every once in a while.
Got that, and then I've got the Federalist Papers pulled up on the iPad, and my son and I read through some of those every now and then when he's going to bed. So got to make sure that he knows it, because he ain't gonna learn it in school, that's for sure.
Well, not the way it needs to be taught, not the way it needs to be learned. I don't know about where y'all are at, and it just kind of goes in the Constitution of things. I live in eastern North Carolina. We got Piggly Wigglies here. Something about them that I like is that they play Christian music over their intercom when you're shopping. Try that in some of these big cities and see what happens. Another infringement on rights of a vendor to do what they wish to do within their store. That's the other thing they talk about when it comes to these gun bills. You know, you look at I think it's Walmart, Dick's Sporting Goods. There's one other that have decided upon their own to restrict sales of firearms to only people 21 years or older. And that's fine if that's what they want to do within their store. But don't enforce your policy on some little guy that's going to abide by what the Constitution says. If the law says I can purchase a rifle at 18, by God, I should have that right to do so.
Well, the problem is, it gets back to where you said shall not be infringed. Even though these federal laws on what can be sold and what have you, the main restrictions we all see is from state government. And the problem with that is the federal government should step in and override them. We talked about this on a chat here just the other day. And the only reason they're getting away with it is very seldom or hardly ever does anybody challenge the law. Probably one of the last ones we seen was here a few years ago when Washington, D.C., they were denied their Second Amendment right, and they took it to court and got all the way through to where they finally had to say, okay, yeah, you can have a gun in D.C. You know, even though it's not a state, but kind of the same thing. But all these laws in California and New York and all that, until they're challenged and go through the federal courts to uphold the Second Amendment, they figured out, hey, it's states' right. We can do whatever the hell we want. When technically, the way I interpret it, the federal government actually should step in and say, no, you can't do that. But the way they've kind of arranged it until it goes through a court system, it can't be challenged. I guess that's the only way you can challenge it.
Well, that's the Supreme Court's job, to make sure that any law is constitutional. But you're right. It's funny how they pick and choose what they do here once it makes it through the appellate levels before it gets to them. So,
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when the Supreme Court challenges to some of these state laws that just passed that have passed laws that are pro-life.
Well,
again, like TR was saying, it's they pick, or you were saying, it's like they pick and choose when and what and where and how. Like they want their cake and be able to eat it too.
well, you got a senile person on there, like Ginsburg, who goes around. It's like a mother is not a mother until she chooses to be, even when the baby is born. If she chooses not to be a mother, she should have the right to have that baby killed. I'm sorry, but no, absolutely not.
I'm right there with you on that. Now she's right that the mother can choose not to be a mother, but it does not give her the right to kill a baby.
Right, she can give the baby up for adoption.
Exactly. There's so many people out there that can't have children.
But her argument's going on if she doesn't want to be a mother so she can get the abortion. Well, you know what? You can't have your cake and eat it too. So I could play the devil's advocate to the devil and say, all right, I don't choose to be the father, so I'm not going to pay child support.
Yeah.
In either case, both are wrong.
I'm not so sure that Ruth Bader's really still alive.
Ruth Bader. She's definitely on life support.
It's a weekend at Ruth's. They're propping her up if she is. That's for sure. They don't want another appointment right now.
Yeah, she's definitely on her last leg. All the damn illnesses she's had. I mean, if she's still able to think straight and get around or whatever, hey, she's a tough woman. I'll give her that.
Isn't there a time when your health, that you can't do your job? You should step down.
Yeah. Well, she's already said that she's going to hang in there until Trump's out of office. Well, she said to 4 years, but I don't think she'll make it to six more. But we'll see.
You brought up thoughts of an old soldier. Some of the the corporations that make these decisions that are obviously kind of not in keeping with just regular law. When Dick's did theirs, we went to the gun range with the Dick's card, and that was the last hurrah of the Dick's card. Dick's has not been visited by this family since they decided to take political stands instead of just being a business. They were never a really good business for guns or ammo. They were ridiculously expensive, but some people, didn't have anything else close by. That may have been their only option.
I mean, that company didn't surprise me because the owner and founder, look what that guy did. He stole the Browns out of Cleveland in the middle of the night and moved him out to the East Coast.
Yep.
So yeah, he was a communist even before he wouldn't sell guns, the ARs.
Yeah, what few times I went into Dick's several years ago, I wasn't impressed. I was only in there for the gun section and stuff, and it was like, okay, I'm done. Nothing to see here.
But yoga pants.
Yeah.
Soccer moms and yoga pants.
Which, I guess some of us still shop big box stores to some degree. But I know me and my buddy Tool Monkey, even ammo, unless I just need something right now, most of the time I order everything online. Even the last several guns I bought online.
I found one local shop where I'm at that's kind of where I go to for all my firearms. If you watch my videos, I plug them at the end of all my videos. Because if they don't have it, they work to get it, and they're fair and honest, and they are actually a truly 2A supporting store.
Yeah, I've got a local gun shop, but again, I do, when I go buy, I usually buy in bulk, and if I have to pick up some odds and ends, I do have a local gun shop that is fair priced. Better than a lot of the other big box stores on prices on ammo and stuff. And I'm a bargain shopper, and I threw Dick's out of the mix, but I'd be honest, I can't remember ever finding a deal even on anything on sale at Dick's. So I don't miss them.
And Mill Syrup Mike, no, it's Wranglers and Tony Llamas or that other boot that's made down there in Texas. I got a pair of. It's not Levi's and Nikes.
One thing I will pick up if I'm near a store or if I go into one for whatever reason is if I'm just kind of minimal stockpiling like powder or primers. You don't buy a box of primers or a pound of powder online. If you're going to buy that online, you got to buy it in bulk. And I've done it and like split, freaking 10 or 20 pounds of powder with somebody, and it is economical then. But if you're just going to buy a pound or a box, 8,000 box of primers, then you just doubled your price.
Yeah, when you pay that hazmat price, it hits you dearly. And like ammo, if I'm not buying enough rounds to cover the cost of shipping, because I was getting that Hornady Black for the Grendel for about $19.95 a box at my local gun shop, but I found it for $14.95 if they ever actually ship it, to get enough rounds to kind of build my brass up so eventually I can reload on it too. So, but 200 rounds, $35 shipping, I'm back up at almost $18. But here, $19.95 plus a couple of bucks in tax with Tennessee sales tax. So I'm still saving probably about $4 a box on it.
Hey, Insight, what is Tennessee sales tax now?
9.25 to 9.75. It depends on what the local municipality adds to the I think the state's 8.75 and they allow, but or 8.5 and they allow between 3/4 and 1 1/4 from the local to be added onto it. But we don't have a state income tax, so that that's a kind of a point of sale kind of tax system, which I'm happier with than a state income tax.
That was my state of residence for years while I was in the Army.
Yeah, it's gone up for over a while. You were up in Clarksville, or?
I grew up in Chattanooga.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All my daddy's kinfolk is from a little old town called Merville, just near Alcoa and Knoxville.
Yeah, I'm in Knoxville every week, so I tromp through Maryville and Merville and up into the mountains and stuff a good bit. But you say Chattanooga, you hopped in after I was talking about the new shooting park here. It's just up in Spencer, which is just about 30 minutes north of Chattanooga, up in there.
And Jamie was talking about that the other night.
Yep.
I don't know if I'll make that event, but I'm going to try.
I'll probably be stopping down there on my way to Knoxville this weekend to talk to him and negotiate it a little bit more. So trying to solidify things with him.
Sweet.
Hey, I'm having this argument with old Millstrip Mike there. Scott, do you have anybody that does photo work and stuff like that, where we can make a phony Dylan calendar made up, put Hillary on it, Ellen DeGeneres, and send it to SoCal?
Oh yeah, yeah, that can be done.
Ginsburg.
You might remember the Glocksman videos. I think I can work on some of that. So
that would be hilarious. I'd love to see his face when he opened that package and starts leafing through it.
Just probably put a bunch of the female elected California officials in it, and he'd be really happy with that. So
that's what I'm saying. Put a bunch of them on it, all those libtards. All AOC for Valentine's Day.
It might give him a heart attack.
Pure gold. Is he in the side chat? I hadn't even seen it.
No, but Millstrip Mike, we started going back and forth about whose posters in whose bedroom and stuff, and I just thought of that Dylan calendar. Put all that stuff on it. Make up a phony Dylan calendar.
Pure gold. I'll start working on that one. I get all my friends sending me requests to do things with funny videos of other friends and stuff. Can you put this head on this? And I was like, yep, not a problem. I used to do family portraits, and there were many times when I had a family member that lived like in California and couldn't make it for it, and they would send me a picture. Can you make this person look like they're in our group? And I was like, yep. Unfortunately, I can. So.
Oh boy. You definitely have to send one to Fuzz because he would love to have a poster like that.
He might shoot
a calendar.
Fuzz might shoot it up.
Well, all of them are half his age, so.
His would have to be like a Lee calendar, and it would have to be like with the powder scoops and everything in there. So have to do a special one for Fuzz.
Which they still sell, the little hand one where you like screw it together to seat the bullet and.
Oh, hey, TR, don't watch the replay of this. Do not watch the replay.
Okay. Am I going to have a channel tomorrow?
Yeah, you will. You will. But you didn't leave any adults in charge, so we started brainstorming with the side chat.
Okay. That's fine. I'm sure it's been worse no matter what y'all said.
If you read a few of the comments, you'll kind of get an idea where we took it. So
see some stuff about Muslims there. That was something I meant to bring up when
Iraq, it smell funny.
Thoughts of a what is your channel name again?
Thoughts of an old soldier.
Okay, we're just gonna call you Soldier. Okay, so
That's fine. Don't call me late for supper.
you're talking about Piggly Wiggly. I meant to interject there that probably one story you ain't got to worry about Muslims being at.
Probably not.
Maybe they could
I
just.
don't know. Now, my last tour, we'd have to hire locals to be our interpreters, and most ones we had were Kurds, which is north part of Iraq, and they'd have to go everywhere we went. Even when we went on U.S. I was on an advisory team, so I lived on an Iraqi base for a year, and we'd have to go to U.S. bases sometimes to get supplies. We'd take them to the chow hall with us. And we took this one young lad in with us, and of course they had code names. We nicknamed this guy DX. And we go to the chow line for breakfast. He smelled that bacon cooking. He said, "What's that?" Said, that's bacon. I don't think you can have it. He said, "I'll eat all the bacon I want. It smells good." And I mean, he took a heaping of it and put it on his plate. And of course, the Iraqi soldiers that were there with us, every time, "You can't eat it." He just looked at us. "I'm a grown man. I'll eat what I want." I thought was really, he was getting a taste of liberty.
Because liberty comes wrapped in bacon.
There you go.
Amen.
Yeah, I did a video a few years ago here in Travelers Rest. They have a bacon festival, and it's in a little fairground area or whatever you want to call it, and it's like bacon everything, bacon flavored boiled peanuts, bacon flavored, you name it. If they can sell it on a cart, it's got bacon in it. I think they even have bacon ice cream. I'm not sure.
Ooh.
Yeah, I saw some soft drinks the other day that had bacon flavor in them.
I don't know if I could drink bacon, but I'd love to eat it.
Yeah, it was pushing.
Had a hog jaws with grits.
I think the only things I tried were just normal stuff, and maybe they had cooked some pig skins in bacon fat, which is already pig already. You know what I mean? It's just pig on pig.
Everything goes better with bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Even on a pizza.
There you go. Now it's American bacon. That Canadian stuff don't count.
How they even get to call that bacon?
They're Canadians. They call it whatever they want.
That's the metric system when they was cutting a hog up, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. Don't get me wrong. I like their version of bacon, but I prefer to call it thin sliced ham. But
Yeah.
The one thing Canadians are good for is they make a good maple syrup.
I try it sometime.
So here's a question, a political question. Throw it out there. What do you have to say as an elected representative, a Muslim elected representative that's bad enough to become kicked out of Congress?
Oh, about all of his comments about Israel?
Or just name it. Every time one of them opens her mouth, she's lambasting something American, pretty much, or our vets or whatever. She seems to be able to basically say what she wants to and get away with it with very little recourse.
Yeah.
Because the Speaker of the House is afraid of it.
Well, because it's just like it's like the same as illegal immigrants. There's two sets of standards. There's standards for us, and there's standards for people that are politically correct. The left wants to champion.
Well, I mean, okay, let me put my tinfoil hat on for a second. But I mean, it gets back to a effort to collapse America And I think the whole Muslim influx and the denial of the so-called religion and the continuous, oh no, it's a religion of peace and this and this. That's just a couple of radicals. They don't count. And then electing them and allowing them just to say whatever the hell they want to say about America is just actually proven the conspiracy theory that they are people in power that want America to collapse. And that's the way I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Hit the nail on the head.
And I've had a lot of people, back in several years ago when I was really digging into conspiracies and history and things like that. And the question was, well, if these people in power, if America collapses, and it kind of gets back to a one world government and stuff like that. They're like, well, they won't have as much money. They won't be as much rich and blah, 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 blah. But in the way I see it, chime in and tell me what you think. If you're the elite, the 0.5% of the elite, not even 1%, beyond that, if you're here and everybody's down here, it don't matter how much money, you're still there. Plus, there's less people down here to control. Who was it that said? I think it was it not Rockefeller. I'll think of his name. Anyhow, he's been in American politics. He says it's easier to kill a million people than it is to control them. So, like I say, putting my conspiracy hat on a little bit. And we've seen it in history, in Russia, China. The best way to control everybody is to cut that number down because they know they can't control too many people.
They've been trying that before World War II. I mean, that's eugenics. They were doing it here in the United States and California, even before World War II.
Yeah, the Germans actually came to America to learn our eugenics techniques because we were killing off mentally disturbed and
anybody deemed undesirable. So, if you were a juvenile delinquent, they could sterilize you back then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you go back pretty deeply into it with Margaret Sanger and stuff, it was also targeting blacks with, the abortion stuff. I mean, the all of that stuff with the Planned Parenthood and the roots and Margaret Sanger goes back to trying to get rid of a certain part of the population they deemed to be unworthy or lesser.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, Margaret Sanger is one of Hillary Clinton's heroes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's got an autographed book by her.
But there again, that's why they got to erase history and destroy statues, and because they're doing a good job of brainwashing these newer generations. I mean, it's already taken effect. Look at it. Look at us. I mean, it's not 100%
U.S. history. I just graduated back in May from a 2-year school, and the majority of my classmates were right out of high school. They don't know economics. They don't know civics. They have a clue about history. They have no clue about real American history. It's sad.
Yeah, and that's changed in a really short period of time too. And I had 2 degrees. I went in '82 and got a degree. And even on the campuses then, there was a good bit of the extreme liberal influence and a hint of the political correctness. But by the time I went back for a second degree in '92, that was really starting to bubble. And in our society, it's been churning now for about 20 years. And I would have never thought in 20 years it would get as far as it has towards destroying the fabric of our society and making us as weak as it has made us. It really has in
From-
such a short period of time.
Yeah, look from 2001 to 2019, how quick it went from after 9/11. Everybody had a flag, a little flag on their car. Everybody was flying a flag in their yard, wearing American flag T-shirts. It was just patriotism. Everywhere, you know, hey, the cops are heroes, the fire department's hero, everybody's hero. The workers are heroes. Just, you know, we were like patriotic as fuck. And now it's like, well, you can't show that American flag. You need to take that down. That might offend somebody. It's like, what the fuck happened?
All right, I got to get in the mood here because we're going down the conspiracy smoking man hole.
Uh-oh.
Oh, so TR, we were doing a little talking before the chat went live. And, you know, this kind of goes right along those lines where they don't want to publicize certain things. This last Virginia shooting. Tell them what you was telling me about that guy.
Oh, from what I understand, he was black, he was a Muslim, and he was a Democrat.
Yeah.
And that's why it hadn't been blasted all over the news.
Yeah, it got really quiet. They didn't publicize and jump all over that like they do with any other ones.
Yeah. It don't fit the narrative. Any of them, when they find out that they were, well, even the shooter in New Zealand, when they were trying to say he was a right-wing radical and that kind of fell apart, that story kind of got brushed under the rug. Because they thought he was a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
Turned out he hated Trump. The only thing he liked about Trump was his immigration, trying to push immigration policy.
Yeah, and he had a manifesto typed up that one of his goals was to help to promote gun control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then once all that started coming out, they was like, oh, okay, what's the next story?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Well, they got, if it don't make the patriotic, well, I just don't even want to say patriotic because that's not who we are as far as that. But if it don't fit the narrative of a right-wing extremist, it's not newsworthy because we're the bad guys. They got to paint us as the bad guys because we're the only ones that understand the history of America, the reason to be patriotic, and why we give a shit about the government. They don't want us because we're paying attention.
yeah, true to that. You know, we're talking about conspiracy theory. I mean, call me crazy. This is what I'm thinking.
Every time Daniel
we had
goes
that
dark,
issue-
I have Marlon Brando from Apocalypse Now in mind.
No.
I don't have my knife, so
Yeah, no shaving tonight. No shaving with the Bowie knife.
Yeah, back on topic.
Loan you my
The
straight
Vegas
razor.
shooting. Yeah. Back on topic of the Vegas shooting. I was going to talk about was that there was a lot of info on that day last year.
You know, Daniel, I
That was
thought you
not
were
adding
crazy
up
when
from
you did
multiple
that
news
until I
sources.
saw the CZ
Hey,
fangirl.
hey, Scott, Warsaw
Yeah.
Patriot, you're stomping on Warsaw. I don't think you can hear him. I think you're having an issue again.
Yeah, I'm not hearing him.
Okay, go ahead, Warsaw.
The info on the Vegas shooting on the news media, nothing was adding up, you know, until a year later. They wouldn't even release anything. And also, I mean, you know, they said he committed suicide. Here's why I think. I don't think he was committed suicide at all. I mean, he said he shot himself in the head. Well, here's why I think. What if there was actually 3 people, because there's 3 different distinct gun sounds that were coming out of that building. Not to mention, a lot of it was all full auto, so I think the CIA had something to do with it. They brought some full auto machine guns, came in that room, killed the guy, and then they shot up the people. They brought the equipment out, and then they just framed it on the gun owners by bringing in a bunch of ARs with bump stocks. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, that whole situation was fishy.
Yeah, and it's still fishy. Yeah, it don't make any sense. If nothing else, You know, not trying. We'll just push the conspiracies to the side a little bit. If nothing else, there was no reason to have that many guns in the room. Let's just say he did bring that many guns into the room. I mean, I've seen a little evidence that he may have. Okay, we'll just say he did. He had all his cameras set up, which we get no footage from. It was a gun deal that went bad. They killed him, and to cover their tracks, they shot the damn place up. If nothing else, I think that is the minimum that what happened. Because even if he was going to plan a big massacre, what do you need 20, 30 freaking guns for? You use a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, you get 2 guns with a whole lot of ammo. But the other thing was about that was it the next day or within a day or two that the whole Hearing Protection Act was going to be voted on to legalize, so we didn't have to get a tax stamp for suppressors. Boom, gone.
Yeah, could be something there. But yeah, like I said, because I understand the conspiracy theories, but like I say, if that kind of makes a lot more sense to me because he was like dealing guns and stuff a little bit. That it was a gun deal that went bad, and they popped his ass, and to cover their tracks, they made it look like he was doing a mass shooting and then killed himself. I could buy that story. I don't buy that he brought all those guns up there, blew out the windows, and shot the. I mean, because it was just like nothing added up. It made no freaking sense.
Well, you go back to Kennedy's assassination. Was there one shooter or were there 3? Evidence indicates there were more than one shooter. But given what was going on, there's several plausible theories as to what happened.
Oh,
Our
absolutely.
government's good about diverting attention when they're trying to do something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've looked into the Kennedy thing, and I remember when they was doing documentaries on it and stuff. I guess it was an anniversary back in the 90s or something. And there's no way Oswald done that. I ain't saying he wasn't involved, but no, he didn't do that.
No,
Even if he was one of the shooters, he wasn't the shooter.
And a good fall guy.
Yeah.
Very good. And one theory was the driver in the limo is the one that popped him in the head. Because if you watch that video, Jackie's doing all she can to get out of that vehicle.
Yeah, that's an interesting story to dig into.
Yeah, we'd be here all night discussing that theory.
Yeah. I think one of the craziest things out of all of it, as the magic bullet, that supposedly did this and this and this, when it just fell out of his body and was laying on the gurney when they was taking him into the hospital. It literally was laying beside his body.
A little odd, isn't it?
Yeah, it just popped out. Oh, there it is. There's the bullet. Let's do ballistics on it. I mean, that's some bullshit that even a B movie wouldn't try to pull off.
Well, the whole thing was rushed from the time he was shot till the time they swore Johnson in. The fact that the autopsy, was haphazard at best. Again, our government's good about diverting attention from one thing when they're trying to do something else.
Well, somebody brought up, it was Bald and Curious, actually. I think it was the Newtown shooting he brought up. We've seen this several times. Very unusual to me. Excuse me. When some of these shootings happens or tragedy happens, just like JFK, like I said, it went so fast. Like, bam, they had Oswald. I mean, had the whole story late. It was just happened way too fast, especially back in the 60s. But even now, these school shootings, and it's like freaking days later, they're just ripping the school down. Oh, we got to tear this down, and they're destroying all the evidence. Even that World Trade Center. We won't have to get into that, but they fucking shipped all that shit off to China. It's like, what the hell was that? You destroyed all the evidence.
Oh, you want to talk
Really
about
couldn't leave all that there for months and months and months, and not touch it. But still, it was very suspicious.
TR? Watch some of the documentaries that are out there about Waco and what the government did. I mean, after the fact.
Yeah.
They run in there with bulldozers, destroyed evidence that was gathered that had anything that would make the government look bad. It all disappeared. From the guy that was in charge of it, he was later promoted he was a Secretary of Defense or the Navy. He committed suicide, and his files were sent to the office of the First Lady. What does the wife, a non-political entity, have anything with no security clearances getting these files to make sure, I don't know. Just wondered. Yeah, they get rid of stuff all the time.
Waco was also a shining example of government incompetence. That whole operation was screwed up.
We were on a roll. We were on a roll back then with Ruby Ridge and in Waco. Janet Reno was a power to be reckoned with, I guess.
Well, Ruby Ridge and Waco are strongly connected to one another.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the fact it was the ATF and FBI, but the same sniper was at both places, and that sniper is the one that shot the guy's wife when she was holding the baby in her arms.
Yep.
And that guy never seen one day in jail.
We talk about the records being sent to the First Lady.
Yep.
You're talking about the Teflon twins.
Yeah.
Nothing ever sticks to either one of them.
No.
It never will.
And as much as this pains me to say it, she's about 10 times smarter than him. And you think about the body trail that follows those two. It got deadly quiet.
I think everybody's reading the side chat.
Yeah, I was trying to type. Neil Syrup was talking about how 22 can go in and come out somewhere else, but with the JFK, I can't remember exactly, but they're saying it went through JFK's arm, hit one of his bodyguards, came back. It went in and out of his body 2 or 3 times. It wasn't like it went in and came out somewhere else. It was more like it went through him, his bodyguard, went back in him, then blew out the top of his head, or it was some crazy horse shit.
I don't think it was his bodyguard. It was the guy sitting beside him, who was later a governor down south there, who was then in a wheelchair after that. It hit JFK's arm, went and hit that guy sitting beside him, then came back and hit JFK up through the head.
Yeah, it was.
And dropped on the gurney.
Who was the governor? Wallace?
Wallace, yeah, it was Wallace.
I think when you heard the silence a little bit ago, we were all thinking whether we should say anything or not, because we were all, not wanting to be added to the list for bringing up the name of the at the time First Lady. So
we're too small time.
Yeah, but all this here is on a computer somewhere down underground, or that big new system they built to collect all telephone calls, all social media. So if they ever want to plug your name and social in, this file will come right up.
They've had all my information for 20 plus years, 30 now. So if they want me, they know where to find me.
Yeah, it's too late to be off the grid now.
Yeah.
You'd have done that way, way long ago.
I still get 2 paychecks from them every month. So.
Heck, you can't even run from them now. With I mean, you go anywhere, the credit card's in your pocket, track you everywhere. Your cell phone tracks you everywhere. All these surveillance cameras, it's all there.
Yeah.
Did you read Red October's comment? Magneto from the X-Men was there and made the bullet travel all over the place. Good one, Red.
Only if it is using Russian ammo with steel core.
And a slightly bent tip. They were early on in the tumbling ammo back then.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, the whole JFK thing. Hell, we could do 2 hours on that and not scratch it hardly. If you ever want to know anything about it, the Kevin Costner movie JFK is probably really close to actual factual what happened. That movie is based on a book by Jim Mars, who was a writer, a reporter, and he did a whole investigation on it. And that movie's based on his book, and it's a really, I like Jim Mars. I've read several of his books, and so. Just for it's a little Hollywood. I know they're gonna have to make up some dialogue or whatever, but for the most part, it covers stuff that you had no idea that was going on in the background.
And we got Rodder out there fact checking us. He said he looked it up on WikiLeaks or Wiki. It was John Connolly.
Okay.
That's sitting beside JFK.
Yeah, I've heard that name. That's probably right.
That does make more sense. I think Wallace was shot somewhere in Alabama over all of that segregation stuff, if I remember right.
Yeah. Wallace was more of it was an assassination or assassination attempt. I can't remember if he got killed or not.
No, that shot paralyzed him.
No, did it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He
would spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair.
Is all these shootings happening down south?
Say again?
All these political shootings happening down in the south?
Well, not all of them. I mean, there've been some in California and different places. Been several in the south. I admit that.
Where was the attempt on Reagan?
That was Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
That was the Brady.
Memory serves me right.
Yeah, that was the one where Brady was paralyzed, right?
Yeah, he took one in the head, and then shortly thereafter they passed the Brady bill.
That's another good one. If you want to delve into some conspiracy, look into the Reagan assassination attempt. Who shot him? Who he was friends with? Where he was at before that?
Yeah, wasn't old dude hung up on Jodie Foster?
He may have been, but he was friends of the Bush family.
Yeah, his daddy was in the oil business.
Yep.
Wasn't it?
He was actually friends with like George Bush's senior's one of his sons or something. I mean, it's like he had dinner at George Bush Senior's house the night before or some shit like that. His daddy was a big old guy. Yeah, like I say, there's a little something to that.
There's some connections there. Yeah.
It's been so long since I dug into it. I can't remember all the details, but there's definitely looks like a cause and effect kind of thing, and something going on behind the scenes. It wasn't just a random crazy guy off the street. Even the Reagan presidency, as far as him picking Bush, that was some backroom deals, like a it's almost like they allowed Reagan to go ahead and get the nomination to run as long as he picked W. Bush to be his vice president.
Yeah, that was kind of the underlying agreement.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody knew Ronald Reagan. They knew him as an actor. They knew him as the governor of California, but he didn't quite have the pizzazz, if you will, without someone that had been in politics longer, which was, of course, the Bushes.
Yeah, well, see, Reagan was like putting down all those the CFR and Trilateral Commission and all that. He was against all that world government crap, and Bush Senior was in all of it.
Exactly. I had the pleasure of hearing President Reagan speak once. He came to Chattanooga the year I graduated high school, spoke to all the senior classes. I think to this day, it's probably one of the best presidents we ever had. But we're talking about Reagan. He was a phenomenal president, I thought. There was a lot to be said about his character.
He loved the country, and he knew how to motivate people to think that we were still worth being a great country.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, when I went to the 5th grade, you know, the Iranian hostage situation was still going on. And Carter, I don't know what everybody's opinions of Carter is. I think as a humanitarian, Carter's a good man. As a politician, he liked to have ruined our nation. He let our defense slide. Reagan had to rebuild all that. Mm-hmm. Of course, you know, it was funny when he took office, 444 hostages came home shortly thereafter.
And then it wasn't too many more years before the wall fell between Germany's.
Yep, I was there when it come down.
When I joined the Navy, Carter was president, and right then when I got to my first command, Reagan was then president, and my paycheck doubled.
Wow.
Yep, he sure did pass one of the largest pay raises the DOD had seen, and because my dad was real happy because his retired pay went up. It was like the largest raise in 30 years. This is Rebel Dog. He wants
Reagan did. I mean, I'm not going to compare Trump to Reagan, but Reagan come into a economy that was just fucking stranglehold. Interest rates was in like the fucking 20s or something like that. Like if you're going to buy a house, your interest rate is going to be like 28% or some shit. I don't remember all of it, but my dad was in real estate and had to get out of it because this shit was just going downhill. Nobody was buying. You know, I mean, it was just terrible. And Carter, Carter was he's a globalist.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, just strangled America. You know, I ain't gonna say it was all his fault, but he just helped it push it down the hill. You know,
pretty much. And everybody knew Ford wasn't going to get elected because of who he replaced. You know, the only president in U.S. history to never be elected to hold the office.
Now, I've heard a lot of talk that him pardoning Nixon. And I don't even know if for any charges that may come. I don't think he ever got charged with anything, but he went ahead and gave him a pardon.
Yeah,
and they say that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, well, that was his death. That was his death knell for getting reelected. You know, after that, Ford's political career was done. People were not going to forgive him for that. But even if he wouldn't have pardoned Nixon, I don't think Ford would have got reelected anyway, given the political climate at the time, based on what had happened during Nixon's administration. As my mama used to say, and she was a staunch Southern Democrat, she liked Nixon as president. Said the only difference between Nixon and the other presidents, Nixon got caught with his hand in the cookie jar.
And what Nixon was getting beat up over is mere nothing compared to what's going on now.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, private
But of course,
servers
again,
in
we
your
didn't have
basement.
mass media back then that we've got now.
Yeah.
Yeah, private servers in your basement. You know that they're coming to get it as evidence. Wipe it out with a bleach bit, and then act stupid. Oh, what? Do you just pour bleach on it?
You wipe
Yeah.
it off with a claw? No, I'd love to be a fly on the wall in some aspect to hear what goes on. And the sad part is that, you know, that's a family that cares not about America, does not care anything about its citizenry. And her arrogance is just, that's what kills me. Even with all her arrogance, the people that still voted for her.
Well, did y'all hear in the last week? She was one of the keynote speakers at a cyber defense fucking convention.
Yes.
Oh,
I don't know what that company was thinking, but
you want to get on the cyber defense and AI and drones? I mean, you know stuff that the military has that is actually beyond top secret. You're not going to see for 20 or 30 years, but it's out there. But you'll start seeing it. I mean, people talking about it on documentaries and stuff, but you're talking about drones that can recharge just from the electric that surrounds your home and in cities, or sit on a high power line and recharge, and they can be out there and monitoring you with a camera, and they can just be programmed to either watch you report or go in and take you out. I mean, this stuff
Daniel, think about the reports of Navy pilots sighting UFOs that has just come to surface.
well, those UFOs were uh, the B-2 bombers. They were flying at night, stuff like that. I mean, it finally comes out. I mean, but this stuff that there is out there now with these drones and AI, it
Scary.
yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, Sam. I mean,
We've gotten off on a real wild tangent.
well, I don't know if art imitates life or is life imitating art. You know, like 1984, the book,
we're yeah.
Terminator. It's
Yeah.
Sounds like we're getting pretty close to imitating the old Art Bell.
Look at that one old book about the Titan, the ship that's supposed to be unsinkable, hits an iceberg and sinks on its maiden voyage, and a few years later, here it is, the Titanic.
Don't forget its sister ship sunk too.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened to be some senators or some kind of Congress people that were going to vote against the Federal Reserve on the Titanic. It's just coincidence, so I don't know.
Well, it's just like they all thought the USS Maine was blown up by a bomb.
Not familiar with that one, but I'm sure there's something to it.
Spanish-American War. You had a newspaper writer that was really wanting something to start up so that the U.S. could gain control of Cuba and Puerto Rico and the Caribbean. We wound up gaining control of the majority of the South Pacific too. All because one battleship blew up in Havana Harbor, USS Maine.
I'll have to look into that.
The only bright side to that war, if there is a bright side to war, if you will, it was a healing process from the Civil War. It kind of reunified the nation, if you will. Tom Berenger's in a movie called The Rough Riders, and you see some of that in there. It's really a 2-day miniseries, what it amounted to. Pretty good movie. Got a lot of good classic firearms in it. You got to check it out. Krag Jorgensen rifle. They showed the Gatling gun being used. Mauser rifles, but because you had volunteer regiments from the north and the south that were formed into divisions. You also saw several Confederate generals recalled to active duty in the U.S. Army. So, interesting side note to the whole USS Maine incident.
Completely off subject. Not really, but off conspiracies. You're talking about a good movie with showing different firearms and stuff. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but I think it was just a Netflix film, but it was The Highwaymen with Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson. I thought that was
Just
a good
watched it
movie.
the other day.
What's that?
It was good.
I
Real
Watched
good.
it like
I love a
3
good
times.
Western.
Yeah, that was a good way to tell the story of Bonnie and Clyde without the movie actually being completely about Bonnie and Clyde. It was such a good movie and put it in reference with the time and how hard up people were and how they became heroes because they were taking on the banks. That was such a great story.
Yeah, it's like a backstory of Bonnie and Clyde,
Mhm.
especially when it got to the end and it was like 10,000 people showed up to his funeral and 15,000 or whatever it was to hers, and it was just like, wow. But like they were like the modern day Robin Hood at the time, and so the people were, because they would go to the little camps and give the money out, and I didn't know that all that much about it. I actually learned a little bit more about them, and I did some more research after watching it. And the governor was elected. I was thinking because me and Sonia was watching it, and I was like, I wonder if like her husband died and they went ahead and appointed her governor, but no, she actually won to be governor. I forget the names.
Yeah, Ma.
Yeah.
What's her last name?
And it, and you're talking the 20s or early 30s, maybe, whenever that was.
It was
Yeah.
the 30s.
Okay. But I mean, for a woman to get governor of Texas then, I mean, that was in itself was a pretty
Was
big.
it was groundbreaking. And my dad grew up in that time, and he can of course he grew up in East Tennessee when the Depression hit. His family's so poor they didn't notice the difference, but that was one of the things growing up that made the newspapers constantly. Then you had the mobs up north doing their thing. So it was crazy times, desperate people, desperate measures.
Yeah. I still think one of the best scenes. I found a clip of it and shared it on Facebook when Kevin Costner walks into that little gun shop. He's just, let me see that BAR, let me see that Thompson. He's just pointing. They just lay like all the guns out.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, I'll take them. He's
I like
which one? All of them.
I like the 1917 .45 revolvers they had.
Mhm.
I'd love to get my hands on one, just once.
Yeah, those used to be easy to get, but I'm sure
They're pricey now.
yeah.
I think the cheapest one I found was $1,700.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got a Smith and Wesson 38. It fires 38 short, not 38 special. It's one of the victory models, which it's just a smaller frame version of the 1917. But I got it for $350. But now even those are starting to climb up in price.
Yeah, if I had to do it all over again, well, just that one part, there's a lot of shit I'd do different. But
Would we all?
yeah. But back in the 90s, when I started buying guns as an adult, man, you could buy M1 carbines for $125 all day long. They go to gun shows. All the military surplus stuff, they was damn near giving that shit away. I mean, 45s, not the revolvers he's talking about. I mean, hell, even my 8mm Mausers, I was buying those from. I bought the cheapest one. Okay, Bought one for $50, one for $60, and one for $80.
Reproduction, and it cost me $700.
That's beautiful.
I love it. It shoots great, but it was pricey. But it was one of those things I had to have it.
Yeah.
I
Great
grew up
little
with
gun. I
the
ended up
story.
selling. I bought one and I ended up selling it, but I like doubled my money, but it was still like giveaway compared to just a couple of years later, you know.
But yeah, when I grew up listening to stories about M1 Garand and the M1 carbine, because my dad jumped into D-Day with the 82nd in World War II, and that was his favorite rifle was the M1 Garand. And he said it had a good round. He said he wished he'd have had one when he had the chance to keep one for hunting. But the carbine, he loved his carbine too. But just talking, growing up hearing the stories about what the rifle could do, that kind of thing. So, BAR was another one he talked about.
Hey, soldier, that 30 cal carbine you got there?
Yeah.
I got one that's probably a little bit older than that, and this guy at a gun show said he'd give me $500 cash right now for it. But but mine was a little bit older. It's a Rockola.
Okay. This one is a Car Arms.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I got this one at Gander Mountain about 4 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. CRS is in effect, gentlemen. Can't remember squat. Maybe 5 years ago.
I remember back in the 70s and 80s, my dad wasn't a big shooter, but he kind of taught me to collect guns because he always had his own business and he had many failed businesses. And he would use those guns like it was a savings account. And we would have, just fucking rifles and pistols everywhere. And he'd have to sell them off. And then he would get doing something that was good and he would build them back up and sell them off, which was heartbreaking, even as a child. But he knew the value of them, even though they were going not much back then. He just always saw them as a good investment. And I guess that this got instilled in me because I became a collector myself. Not that I pick out high dollar guns. It's just like, oh, you only want $50 for that? Yeah, I'll take it. Whatever it was, And but anyway, hell yeah, like the Springfield 03s, Savage, the Savage lever action. Well, I'm not a military gun, but just stuff that's worth a lot more now. It's like, holy crap at the guns we went through.
The last gun show I went to, they had here in Fayetteville, guy had an 03. Wanted $1,800 for it, and it was immaculate. It really was. He also had a P17 Enfield, which those are even rarer to get. And I'd love to get my hands on one of those, but again, the prices.
Yeah.
Maybe if I win the lottery.
Yeah, the days of the surplus guns being sold dirt cheap, I think that's dried up.
Just about. Where was I reading it?
When a damn not a Mauser, when a Mosin Nagant's going for $250, I think it's dried up.
Yeah. My son just put an SKS on layaway. I want to say it was a Hungarian SKS. One of those Eastern European SKSs, $400, and he put it on layaway. He's got to get it out next month. I can remember you get SKS for less than $200.
Hell, I remember in the 90s they was $69.95.
Yeah, you go into the gun store, there would be a old wooden tub there, and it'd be full of SKSs, like $89 each.
Now, did y'all keep up with Classic Firearms channel?
Yeah, they got them for $350 right now in the Rincos.
$350 now.
Yeah. I say that I checked it yesterday or day before yesterday because I seen a video on it and I was like, well, what are they going for now? It was $350. Now, y'all, yeah, you do have to kind of factor in inflation because, I mean, even if you just triple the gun prices from the 90s till now, it's probably not as much as inflation has actually gone up. So there's still, if you look at it like that, it's not as bad, but it's still, I misquoted some numbers, but I remember when I bought my SKS, I said the ammo was $1 a box and it was $100 a case. No, it was $50 for a case of 1,000 rounds of Chinese 7.62 by 39. $50. I mean, it was a dirty ass ammo steel case, but at $50 a case, come on. I should. My
TR
frame should have done buckled under this house. How much ammo I should have.
with TR back then, a candy bar cost a dime.
That's true.
I
Yeah.
I can remember when
as a
gas
kid.
was 25 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We took a trip.
that changed under Carter pretty
Oh
quick.
yeah, well, we
Along
took
with
a
the gas lines, people lined up because you couldn't get it. So
oh yeah, we took a trip in '77, yeah, from Atlanta, Georgia to Seattle, Washington, and back hauling a camper. And I can remember as we were traversing, when it would be my turn to ride shotgun beside Daddy. First thing he'd say, "Now you find a gas station when you see it 35 cents or less, you let me know." Because we had 2 5-gallon jerry cans. We didn't find it for 35 cents or less. He'd take them 10 gallons, put in the truck. We cruise on down the road. And it all, you think now 35 cents, oh, it ain't no big deal. Back then, that was a bargain for a gallon of gas.
Well, the less it was, a few cents was a bigger percentage difference.
Yeah. And then also leaded back then too.
Yeah.
We had to find leaded.
Yeah, I remember when that was being phased in and people were like taking pry bars and ripping that damn little thing out of the gas thing so they could put the leaded gas in the newer engines. You know what I'm talking about? Because a leaded had a bigger nozzle.
Nice insight.
Go in there with a metal rod and punch it out so you can get the leaded gas into it.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're gonna show off classic firearms here. I still got my prop from the last chat.
Mine's not classic. Mine's just a reproduction.
Well, Swedish Mauser.
Nice.
Nice, man.
Okay, I'll be back.
yeah, I got the shoot.
I'm talking about it. You may appreciate this, older. When they started importing these surplus, I paid $79. It was like $79.99 or whatever they would sell them for, and this was what the armory would put on them when they tested them out, and they like bored them. Not bored them, but like slugged the barrels, found out what the bore was, how eroded it was, and all that. And once everybody started figuring out what all these damn numbers meant, you would go to the gun shows or whatever, and they would remove these because it was showing it had wore out barrels and stuff. I can't remember. This one has a good bore in it. I bought it kind of early. I wish I'd bought more ammo for it because now it's no deal. There's no deals on the ammo.
I would love to.
But still a nice gun to have.
I'd love to get my hands on my granddaddy's pistol. My uncle has it. He brought it back from France from World War I. It was a Luger.
Oh yeah.
What do you got, Daniel?
From the War of 1812.
Sweet.
It's heavy. Bull barrel.
That's got a beautiful stock on it.
Yeah.
Does it take Glock magazines?
No, it don't.
That take a Glockazine?
And neither does the Rockola. Military surplus. And that thing still shoots. It's a tack driver.
Is that really that old of a muzzleloader?
Well, actually, no. This is from the late 1800s.
Oh, that's still an old damn muscle.
Yeah, but it's not from the War of 1812 though.
You ever heard of Universal?
Yeah.
They used to make carbines a long time ago and I want to say a lot of law enforcement would buy them. Had the perforated top guard.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I'd like to get one of those just to have.
Oh yeah. Oh, back then, hell, there was all kind of companies making military surplus. Well, not military. It was making for the military period.
Yeah.
Hell, even a Singer sewing machine was making rifles. I think. Yeah, I'm almost positive. When I was in Desert Storm, my M16, excuse me, was made by what's GM's automatic transmission company?
I know who you're talking about.
It's Hydro something. I can't think of it. Hydromatic, I think. Something like that. That's who fucking made my M16 when I was in Desert Storm. Fucking GM.
Mine was made by FN.
Oh really? Wow.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on my recollection. My memory's not that good.
No, actually, you're probably right. A lot of people think that the M16s that the DOD had were all Colts, but yeah, like most of my time on Fort Bragg, most of mine were FN. Made out of the. I think the FN's got a plant in South Carolina. And a lot of them came out of there. But you go back to World War II, you talk about companies making different things. World War II, B.F. Goodrich, which you would associate with automotive, made jump boots for the Army.
Oh, yeah.
If you know anything about Army history, the jump boots are Cochrane's, but B.F. Goodrich made jump boots for Army airborne units. They were one of the manufacturers.
The boots I had I was in the CBs. My construction battalion steel toe freaking boots. It was I ain't saying they made the boot, but they made the sole. It was a tire manufacturer because it was imprinted in it. It was Goodyear or Firestone or some shit like that. I can't remember who. And I hardly did any wear and tear on them. Them damn things were lasting.
I know the type of boot you're talking about.
Yeah, B.F. Goodrich.
Yep.
Akron, Ohio.
That's about right.
Yeah, this one here is a Reinhardt. It was made in 1884. Finally got to see what the stamps on it. So, yeah, but you had jukebox companies contracted for war production. I mean, any factory.
Yeah.
Well, it's not war production here, but Red did say, does anybody have a functioning shotgun? I know TR's got probably one really close by, but I'll go ahead and fly by a functioning shotgun. And that lovely sound that nobody invading your home ever wants to hear.
I've got a Bonnie and Clyde shotgun downstairs, the Model 97.
I don't have a shotgun nearby.
What?
My little cheap Maverick 88.
I got AK-47. Does that count?
That works.
If it works.
Does a big bore AR count?
Yes.
Close to.
Yes.
That's 20 gauge at least, ain't it? No, it's 410.
I was about to say, if I put a slug in this, the slug is slightly larger than that, but the ability to shoot quicker on that, definitely.
Well, it all depends on how long your shoulder can handle it.
Yeah.
What is that? Would you say it was a Mossberg, bud?
No, this is my high point carbine. Let's talk economy.
A lot of people talk highly of those. I had never shot a high point, I don't think.
I like this one. It shoots great, but it just feels like you're holding a pork chop when you're trying to hold it.
Okay.
And you keep hoping somebody's going to make some aftermarket magazines that actually have some capacity to them, don't you?
Yeah. because all they make is I think 9 or 10 round and 15 round.
Mm.
But
It's a
as
matter
far
of
as accuracy goes, I like it. It's just the pistol grip's a little thick for my taste, but at the time I bought it, I didn't have a lot of money. So I was like, that'll work.
Is that the 45? Which one is that one?
I got the 45, yeah.
Nice.
Now that AKV that you see, Dakota went and did that review on by Palmetto State Arms. It's shooting the 9mm. I like that thing. Because it takes CZ Scorpion mags.
Huh.
It takes what kind of mags?
The CZ Scorpion mags.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah, those are pretty cheap.
yeah, and the ones at Palmetto is the mags that they're taking will fit this into the CZ Scorpion too, and they cost less than the CZ's mags.
I seen that video. I had no idea anybody was making an AK platform with a 9mm. It threw me off, actually.
Wow, I didn't know that either.
It's kind of sacrilege or something, though. I mean,
Should be a Makarov or something.
and yeah, AK and 9mm is like kissing your sister or some shit. I don't know.
But you know,
I don't have
think
enough mental right out for that one.
For a close order combat gun,
Nah, I'm just playing.
I've never owned an AK, but I mean that one there, but the price it's in the $700 to $800 range, somewhere in there.
I like a 9mm carbine. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sure. I'm not going to down that. I've never held one, never shot one. I've just seen the one video of it. But I think the features of an AR lends itself to be a better platform for the 9mm versus the AK. That's just a personal opinion. I mean, because with the AK, I got where I could do quick mag changes, but there's just a lot of stuff that's just a little quicker, a little easier, a little user friendly on the AR platform versus the AK. AK is a battle horse. It is a tank. Don't get me wrong, but
I like the RPK. RPK is nice. Now getting one, that's a different story.
well, I mean, you just like I said, if you train with it enough, you can get really good at it. But this one's got a folding stock. But you know the way the magazine release is, and I don't know how it is on that 9mm one. I'm assuming it's the same.
From what I see, I think it is the same.
And you don't have a bolt hold open, so you just keep shooting till it goes. Or it clicks or it quits shooting. You change a mag. There's no bolt release, so you gotta, come across and do it. This.
Why don't you just leave your offhand on the foregrip and reach up with your trigger finger and rack it?
I've tried that, but this is actually quicker.
Getting around the mag?
Well, not even getting around the mag. I mean, believe it or not, I actually tried it. I didn't videotape or whatever, but I just messed around because you got to use this hand, change the mag, reposition, then use this hand. But if you practice a little bit, you use this hand, you smack the mag release with the magazine and bump the magazine out, rock the new magazine in, and you're already right here.
I saw a video where a former Spetsnaz soldier, that was the way he kind of demonstrated it.
it seems odd to do it that way, but you're already changing the mag with this hand. You have to reposition and then grab. You know what I mean? It actually works smoother and more fluid using your offhand, your left hand, or if you're right-handed.
AKs are good platforms.
Mm-hmm.
I had my last tour, like I said, we lived on an Iraqi base, so me and my roommate kept an AK in our room in case we had to collapse in where we were at. It was made more sense to have one of their weapons than one of ours as far as, battlefield pickup went. But we'd go out periodically to the range with our Iraqi counterparts and shoot with them with those things. Well, just shot well. And I think my roommate had a Yugoslav variant, which, if you ever seen it, is it Yugoslav or is it the Czech version? It's kind of got a weird barrel shape. The gas tube doesn't actually sit like a traditional AK.
Hungarian.
Hungarian, yeah. And then I think I had a Yugoslav variant, but good platforms, shot well. It's also fun to go out there and shoot them on full auto when we had a stressful day.
Well, those pistol caliber carbines, I mean, you can laugh at me all you want, but high point, those things run. I mean, you get them at 9mm or a 45, and you can get them cheap, and you can run over them with a tank, and they'll still run.
I love mine. The biggest thing I don't like is the thickness of that handle. That hand grip is just. I feel like I'm holding a pork chop when I'm trying to shoot it. That's all. But it's heavy, so with being heavy, there's not much recoil either.
Well, pistol caliber and a rifle. I mean, you just don't have a lot of recoil anyway. But yeah, they're fun to shoot, and close quarters combat. Not that I ever want to be in it, but it has its place.
Well, not to mention you can make reloaded ammo so dang quickly for those little pistol calibers. I mean, I can sit down and crank out 100 in a 15-minute break without even trying on my Loadmaster. Just little breaks here, little breaks there, have everything set up. It's good to go.
Yeah. Inexpensive, and you get a lot of training in.
Yeah.
And if you're in a combat situation, you run out of bullets, you can use it as a club.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the MP5s?
Well, yeah, talking about reloading, like bottleneck cartridges, 223. It just ain't worth my damn trouble. I'll buy a Tula or a Wolf. It just is not worth my effort. My time is worth more than that. That's just my personal humble opinion. Not that I don't have crap to load up several thousand rounds right now. That's kind of my reserve. But at the price you can buy a Tula, Toll, whatever y'all want to call it, I'm only saving pennies on a round.
I don't know. Do you think I think the 40 caliber is phasing out from what I've been seeing up here. Are you seeing that down there?
Yeah, I don't think 40 ever caught on as real huge, but it did catch on for a while, and I think it is dying out a little bit. And it may have a lot to do with just the price of the ammo. I mean, if you're going to lean toward the smaller cartridge and a smaller frame gun, why not go 9mm and get a couple extra rounds? I mean, I'm not down anybody that's got a 40. Don't get me wrong. I don't have a 40, and I'm not investing into a 40 because that's just more reloading shit, more fucking brass, more fucking everything. It's like, no, 9mm, 45. All right, I ain't going to jump in the middle. I know it's hot for competition. It's kind of took over like your 9x21, 38 Super, to get into the major categories, major power factor categories.
Mhm.
It's an easier, quicker, cheaper round to have. So in competition, it's probably going to stay around a while because it fills that gap and is cheaper. But far as people's self defense, I think it's phasing out a little bit.
Yeah. Because the only thing is those 40s are only being sold to people who are shooting competition around here. Then they have to order them. The gun store, you just don't hardly see them unless they're sitting on the used side.
Well, I know there's not that many people that have them because when we did have, like, say, the last ammo scare, you couldn't find anything except 40 Smith & Wesson. That would be on the shelf, but you wouldn't gonna find no 9.45. And it was what, several years before you could find 22s. Everybody went ape shit over 22s.
Yeah. People still talking about that today.
Yeah, now you can go to auctions, estate auctions and stuff, and there's cases of them sitting there.
Mm-hmm. Last time I bought a brick of 22 wasn't too long ago. And I just happened to be in Walmart shopping for something else, and I always breeze by, in case I see something on clearance or something on the ammo or something.
I'm just wondering when we're going to start seeing the Berettas hitting the police trade-ins and military trade-ins on the Berettas.
All right, ain't they already?
I haven't seen too many around here.
The Classics had a bunch of big shipments of those 92s.
Yeah, check Classic. I think they're on the market. But anyway, I bought a brick of 22, and the guy's like, "You can buy more than one." And I was like, "I don't need this brick. I'm just buying it for the hell of it." Just in case. I'm not going to get caught with my pants down. Not that I did before, but I didn't have as much as I was comfortable with, so.
Yeah, I thought I was doing pretty good on 22s until Mini-Me over there decided he really enjoyed shooting the 22s, and they go pretty quickly these days.
Well, stockpile now. Buy often and buy a lot.
Yeah.
It'll happen again.
Don't buy the cheap.
Price of 22s, it's not that big a deal to stockpile it a little at a time.
Yeah, if you're going to stockpile 22, don't buy that cheap stuff that won't run in a semi-automatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one I have to order online because I can't find it anywhere. That's my, let me pull it up. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. But it's 38 Smith & Wesson, the little short. Used to be a common round, but the only place I can find it's online.
I'm surprised you can still find it.
They're coming out of
there's a lot of the online sites still have got it.
Carolina Munitions.
I haven't checked with them. I used to get a lot of it through Cheaper Than Dirt.
Yeah.
I bet you the reason you're still able to get them and they're not obsolete is cowboy action shooting.
That could be now. Yeah, you're right.
You can shoot those in a 38 special or a 357. And you're going to have that really low recoil. And, I mean, they're just barely popping the targets with their bullets.
Yeah, it's only a 145 grain bullet. Now, the pistol itself rated to fire a 200 grain round. Mm-hmm. But you're hard pressed to find a 200 grain round in that cartridge anymore. But that was the British round that was actually, because Webley made a 38 that fired a 200 caliber cartridge. So we sent a lot of those pistols over during World War II under Lend-Lease. Then they came back to us, and then we'd issue them to security police and police training academies. Matter of fact, mine still got the U.S. government stamp on top of it. But it's a fun pistol to shoot. I like shooting it. As a matter of fact, when I do yard work, I usually got that one on my hip in case Jake comes slithering around.
Yeah, good for that. All right. Anything else going on? We're hitting close to the 2-hour mark. Bueller, anybody, anything?
I'm just humbled to be here, gentlemen. I want to thank Warsaw for inviting me, and to you, TR, for letting me come on your hour. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I'm glad to have you on, man. Always nice to see a new face and like-minded people.
Outstanding.
Yeah, it's good to chat with you because I've seen you in the side chat a bunch. So it's good to chat with you with a voice associated with it.
And likewise, sir, likewise.
I'm just glad you guys came on there because that stopped my whining spell about my computer problems, and we got to talk conspiracy and guns and the new Scott, the calendar thing. It's got to happen.
Okay.
All right, TR, don't worry about it.
Speaking of calendars, if you want to support veterans, go to Pin Up for Vets and pre-order your 2020 calendar now. They got some classy ladies in that calendar too. Get a chance to check them out.
Okay, I just put a link to your channel, Soldier, for anybody that wants to click on that and throw it to the side so you can check out his channel, see if you something you're interested in. And
Thank you, sir.
No problem. Hopefully it works.
Hopefully I don't bore them.
I doubt it. Red, I had a good question. You know, I hadn't seen anybody. Usually Rob Pops Quest does the Let Freedom Ring videos. He kind of sets them off or asked everybody to do that. I hadn't planned on it, but you know what? Now that you mention it, yeah, I probably will do another Let Freedom Ring video. I mean, those are fun to do. I don't know if you've ever seen any of them, Soldier. It's just go out, dump some mags, or shoot a gun. He ain't got to dump a mag, but just have shooting going on, and you don't have to talk. You don't have to say anything. Just bang, 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 let freedom ring. You know,
that's right in my wheelhouse.
And then there's a common drop time, so it kind of really floods YouTube with the shots of freedom. So
yeah, somebody will have to do I'll talk to Rob before then for sure. I'll talk to him Friday, matter of fact, but maybe if he joins. But anyway, yeah, usually what he does is be like 4th of July, 5:00, drop the video. Can you still schedule videos?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, schedule it. You know, like upload it. Hell, you could upload an old video. It don't matter. Just upload a video or have it in queue and say 5:00 on 4th of July. Bam. And that way when you see your feed, it'll just be like, let freedom ring, let freedom ring, let freedom ring. Just to just flood YouTube with them.
Nice.
We should really push that this year as much as YouTube has been anti-gun.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
All right. Yeah, well, when I talk to some of the farmer guys, we do a private chat on Fridays. I try to join, and yeah, we'll have to see about arranging that. It's plenty of time to do it now. I mean, it's a month away, so yeah, we'll have to do it. Hey, and like I said, the way we've done it in the past, you can include old footage, new footage. It don't matter. Just chop up a video or just make a video. Nobody cares. We just want to see the title, like hashtag Let Freedom Ring, and just have a bunch of channels. It's not a contest. It's not, nobody wins. Everybody wins. It's just to spread freedom seeds.
And TR, I've been trying to get into this because we got to stipulate it's shooting guns, right? It's not throwing tomahawks or knives.
Yeah, no tomahawks or knives. You can shoot a shotgun,
Red.
but it's got to be a firearm.
Well, you got to at least shoot while you're throwing. So, Red, if you feel like you can take on you're so good now, maybe you can throw and shoot at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Throw the knife and shoot it in midair. Shoot the knife in midair. There you got your moving target and everything.
Does a bayonet charge count?
Now he could duct tape his knife to his shotgun, shoot the shotgun, and then run up and stab his target.
Oh, and duct tape the tomahawk to the back of the stock, and he can chop it then.
I'm ready either way. Oh,
Maybe he can find an old bayonet mount, shoot it, and then throw the bayonet gun at his target.
The whole gun.
it's a possibility. Ready to tape it to a broomstick and slide, or a towel dowel and slide it down the barrel. Launch
Hey,
it like a
Red,
slug.
Red, do you want to borrow my Rockoli? It is fitted for a bayonet, and I've got the bayonet downstairs.
Sweet.
Well, if I put the target within 10 foot of me, I can shoot my Mosin Nagant and then lean forward and bayonet the target, because that's how freaking long it is with the
It is.
Yeah.
That is a long rifle.
You need a long bed truck to carry that one around.
Oh Lordy. I'm an old artillery guy, so you know, if we can't hit it with a howitzer, we didn't bother to try. Pull string, gun go boom.
All right, that sounds like a plan. Yeah, we'll have to work on that. One of us will get that figured out. But anyway, thanks for everybody for coming on. Thanks for everybody in the audience for putting up with us and hanging out with us. We bounced around on a lot of subjects as usual, and I enjoy that. I like us bouncing around and hitting a lot of different topics and having fun while doing it. So appreciate everybody. I'm going to let everybody do an outro, and I'm going to start again with you, Warsaw, if you're still there.
All right. Thank you again for having me on, TR. And guys, I'll be definitely trying to be posting up some more videos up in the next couple weeks from now, maybe. We'll see what happens. But and again, thanks for having my friend come on.
Thanks for being on, man. I appreciate it.
No problem.
And our new guest, thoughts of an old soldier. Would you like to do an outro?
Yes, thank you. Again, TR, everybody on this panel, I'm humbled to be here. Warsaw, thank you for inviting me. I'm just, again, humbled to be here. I'd ask Friday, watch for my video. It's a dedication to D-Day. Be remembering those that 75 years ago went in for our liberties. My dad was one of them. So just look for my video. It'll be similar to one I did for Memorial Day. But with that being said, thank you again. I'm humbled to be here, and the old soldier out.
Well, thanks for coming on. You're a great guest. I appreciate it. Insight, would you like to do an outro?
Just good chatting with all of these gentlemen, and you, TR. Thank you for having us on. Thank you for always making it fun, keeping it on track even when it's off track, and for the side chat who has been on fire and hilarious. Thank all of you, because I've had more fun reading that. So yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
No problem. I have to admit, I am very proud to have a very diverse and entertaining and knowledgeable audience that comes and hangs out with us and stuff. It's always a good, that's why you always see me looking over here. I'm looking at the chat. Daniel, would you like to do an outro?
No.
Okay.
No, I was reading the side chat. I mean, all those pregnant pauses when we're all quiet, that's exactly what we're all doing. We're reading the side chat. And there's one guy out there who's like, he's threatening that he just might start making videos now. If you're still out there, do it, man. I mean, that's how I started, just typing on the side chat, making smart aleck comments. And from there, it went in there to making smart aleck videos. That's it, just having fun. And it's great hanging out with you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, if it wasn't fun, I'd have done stopped. Sometimes I have to I'm like, okay, dude. And then it's like I get to going and then see the comments, and it's like, hell yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this. Not that I think about it too much, but Yeah, just have fun with it. That's if it ain't fun, don't do it. Nothing wrong with being serious, but it's still, if it becomes a job, quit. Don't do it. All right. Anyway, thanks everybody for coming by. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. I don't know if I got anything coming up as far as myself in any kind of videos or whatever, but we'll see. And we'll talk to everybody later. See you, YouTube.